Well, hi everybody. This is DearMamaSal, and we are live on a Friday evening, and I'm wearing my DearMamaSal apron, which was very kindly made for me by Pat. And I just want to say welcome. We're going to have a lot of fun, hopefully, today, and I'm going to show you a lot of things that I hope will sort of have you going, really? Hadn't thought about that, or things that will help you save a bit of money here and there. First thing I got to do, because you all know me and my hair, right, is if I'm going to cook, I need to get it out of the way. So hi there, Jeannie, and hi, Isabel. Good to see you. Let me just get the incredible hair. I have no complaints about my hair. I think for somebody of my age to have as much hair as I do, I'm a very happy camper. But when I'm cooking, I like to keep it out of the way. So hi there, Jody. Good to see you as well. And all of you, thank you. And for those of you who don't know, Jody is our admin. And I need my earbuds in. Otherwise, I can't walk and talk at the same time. Well, I can, but you just won't hear me as well. So just hold on. Hi, Sandy. Good to see you as well. Let's get the earbuds in, people. Okay, Okay, just let me know if you can still hear me okay. I'm going to go and wash my hands and talk. I just want to make sure you can still hear me. So, first things first, touch the hair, wash the hands. So, I hope you all have a super day. And for those of you who are wondering what happened to the lunchtime broadcast, I will be letting you know about that a little later when we get into the chit-chat sections. But in the meantime, today we're going to be talking bulk meat, and we're going to be talking what to watch for when you're shopping. I'm going to be making, have any of you ever heard of Queen of Pudding? The reason I thought I would show you is it's something that I grew up eating, and it obviously, apparently it's been around for the longest time. I mean, centuries. And I thought I had a feeling that some of you might never have heard of it. I will do my version of it, but I will give you lots of different versions that you can do. So Jody's never heard of it? Okay, fine. It's an awesome thing to do if you're trying to have dessert. Queen, as in I am the queen, of pudding, as in dessert. And so it's a really easy thing to do. And I thought you guys would probably like to know how to do it. And it's a great way to use up things as well, which is, yeah, you see, hi, Sharon. That's why I thought I would do it. I grew up eating that, but I wonder how many people in North America did. So that's the second thing we're going to do. And then I'm going to give you some feedback on my experiment. If you remember, I was experimenting with cream cheese. I know at least one of the viewers tried it. Did anybody else try it? I think Sandy tried it. Hi, Beth. Good to see you. I actually want to tell you it was great fun, and I'll talk about that as well. So here we go. Today, the first thing I want to talk about is, I know some of you are really stealth shoppers. You know, you're really smart about doing the shopping. So what I wanted to do was to give you some idea of, please, when you do your shopping, buy big, not small now. The reason is because small is getting very, very expensive, and you can probably save quite a bit by going big. I'd like to give you an example in a second. But first of all, in case you're new and you don't know, DearMamaSal is all about helping you cope and with your life. And we do one section on Friday lunchtime normally about helping you cope with your feelings. We do one helping you cope in the kitchen in a Friday evening. And then on Sunday afternoon, we do coping with your stress. So I just wanted to say, yes, Beth, Can we talk about that after we've done the demos? And is it all done? You and I both know what all done is all about. So, and if you are okay to talk about it later, I'd be delighted to. Okay, yeah, deep breath. Okay, so here we go. First of all, I want you to get some flour. Now, the normal size flour in my store is this sort of size, and we always get challenged because I speak Canadian, and you guys, most of you guys are in America. So this is 2.5 kg, which would be about a 5-pound bag, I think. Is that correct? For those of you who know. Hi, Kimmy, good to see you. So this is a normal bag of flour. And then I didn't want rye. I wanted, this is for my multigrain sourdough, but I wanted some white flour. And normally I used to buy that size. I now buy this size. Now this is 10 kgs, that's 10 kilograms. Which would be 20 pounds, 25 pounds, I think. Jody normally quite good about that. I got somebody who's going to help me with some of the calculations here because, you know, it's not my strong suit. Hi, Pat. Pat, thank you. It's Friday evening, so I'm wearing my apron. And by the way, I always tell everybody where the apron came from, Pat. All right, so this is the difference I'm going to show you. The difference between this size and then buying this size. By the way, they were both 22 pounds on the big one. Thank you, Isa. So they were both on sale this week, just so that you know. Hi, Jeannie. All right, Jenny, it's not, Jenny's saying I normally get a particular brand because it's supposed to be so good. King Arthur, she's saying. It doesn't matter what brand, we're not talking brands here. What we're talking about is how do you buy your flour? So, because what we're talking about the whole time today is coping with less money or reducing your grocery bill in the long term, because I think we're all going to need it. And before I start, Jody put in, and by the way, those of you who don't know, Jody is our admin. She always puts in these great quotes for us. Jody's put in a quote that says, how we do food is how we do life. Why did I find that so funny? Well, the viewers who know me will know why, but the rest of you, you're going to find out. All right, so how we do food is how we do life. Every meal is a metaphor for how you show up in the world. Are you present? Are you complaining? Are you multitasking? Do you add love, celebration, time, communion, and gratitude for every meal and make every meal the best meal ever? Jody, what an awesome quote for me. All right, and that was said by Mark David and Emily Rosen. I have tears in my eyes. And for those of you who don't know me now, you will do by the end of this time. You'll know all about who I am just by the way I cope in the kitchen and how I cook. So, so here we go. Yeah, Isabel's making a big joke here. She's going, oh, listen to this one. We've got King Arthur flour for the Queen's pudding. Yeah, good one. Except we won't be using flour in our pudding. I thought it was a great quote as well. All right, so let's get rolling with this one. For those of you who are watching in the background, feel free to participate. Only one word of warning. If we chit-chat about whatever it is you've said, just understand that the chit-chat will continue. What I'm saying will continue on the replay, but what you said, I will disconnect normally within the first hour. I actually forgot to do that last Sunday. But Jody eventually reminded me about Tuesday that I hadn't done it. But normally we take it down with it almost immediately. So just if you want to say something to the group, but don't want me to repeat it, just put Sal, don't talk about it. Okay, that's for those of you who are new. Kimmy's saying, I'm going to buy just what we need for that day in a couple of days, especially after the fridge went out. I found a hotel fridge and I can use. Good. All right. Wow, yes, and the refrigerator and stuff are on back order until October. I totally understand it. Jody and I waited 3 months to get our freezers. All right, so here we go. How many of you agree on this quote that food is about memories? And look what I'm cooking today, a big memory. By the way, if you do have something you'd like to see me attempt, want to see me cope in my kitchen attempting something really weird or interesting, let me know. I won't necessarily do it, but I will keep it in mind when I'm looking for stuff. Because I'm always, looking for more inspiration. And I got a bit of a backlog at the moment, but we're doing fine. Guy Fieri said that cooking is all about people. Food is maybe the only universal thing that really has the power to bring everybody together. No matter what culture, everywhere in the world, people eat together. How many of you know that one of the reasons I really wanted, when I bought this place 8 months ago, probably now, the reason I bought it was because of this incredible kitchen and this workspace that is in front of me. Now, the regular viewers know what it looks like, but I have got this huge space that goes behind where the computer is all the way across to here. And it's deep, and it's a most wonderful space to cook on and to do anything on. I spend a lot of time standing right here. Okay, so by the way, what day is it today? It's nearly Jeannie's birthday. Jeannie's birthday is on the 8th, so she's got a couple of days to go yet. So I also would like to say that working in the kitchen requires that you cope with your mind. How many of you agree with me on that one? When you start to work in the kitchen, what sort of things come to your mind? I got to wash my hands again. I'm going to be doing that a lot, aren't I? I might have to get a sanitizer here so that I don't have to keep going to the sink. All right, so hi, Kiz. Are you going to be here for a while? I've got a couple of notes that got your name attached to them. Jody might remember what they are. I know we were trying to find, I don't have you on Messenger, Kez. I wonder, or if I do, I couldn't find you. Can you make sure you write to me at DearMamaSal@gmail.com just so that I have some way of getting hold of you? Because Jody and I had 2 reasons to get hold of you in the last week, and we're going, how do we get hold of her? Yeah, all right. Coping in the kitchen requires coping with your mind. Let's hear it from you guys. What sort of things go through your mind when you're thinking about saving money in the kitchen? What sort of things do you think of? Do you think of less, in other words, that you're going to lose out? Or do you think this is creative time? Because I think how you, like anything else in life, how you cope in the kitchen with less money is the same way you cope with life. If we go back to that wonderful quote at the beginning, right? How you deal with food is how you deal with life. So what I wanted you to understand is when you're cooking with limited funds, it's just a different way. It's just that, it's not quite, you don't have quite as many choices, but you have different choices. And that's what I want to show you. And I believe that it means we shop smarter, and we're looking for more bang for our buck. Now, I'm pretty sure that you guys are going to have some examples for us in a minute. Francois de la Roche, I can't say that. He said, to eat is necessary, but to eat intelligently is an art. So one of the things I'm going to do when I do the Queen of Pudding is to actually do it for those of you who are and not glucose intolerant necessarily, and for those of us that are diabetic or close to. So the first thing I did, just so you know, is I had one of those, I kept the thing so I could see, okay, this was very legible when I put it in here. It no longer is. I think this was like a big roll of hamburger. I didn't worry to write it down because, or did I? Because it was on here. Never mind, these things happen. Life goes on. So that is about, I think it was about 2.5 kilos. So Kez is saying, buy fruit and vegetables seasonally, use recipes that only use 3, 4, 5 ingredients. Yes, that's absolutely. Buy seasonally will save you a lot of money. In other words, if this is the season for zucchini, buy it and make things with it and learn to be more creative with zucchini. I'm going to show you a bit about that in a second. And, you know, don't throw stuff away. That's the other thing you're going to learn big time, is not to throw things away. Now, the other thing that I heard, and I thought it was such a good point, which is, how many of you meal prep? How many of you actually plan your meals for the week and cook them according to a plan? You all know I don't do that. But I'd like to know how many of you do, because I want to ask those people which way around do they do it. Yep, Pat does. Okay, so Pat, the question that I have is, do you go for the recipe first and then check what you've got and buy the things you don't have? Or do you do it the other way around, which is check what you've got and see the recipes you can find that uses that stuff? Yeah, Pat saying meals tend to stress me out. I can understand that. It's hard to get small bang for your buck in a small town. Yeah, sometimes, but it's also, quite honestly, in today's reality, you can order up food from anywhere and get it delivered. I mean, that is the whole thing. You know, you can order food from Amazon these days and have it delivered to you, like literally the next day. All right, so Sandy's saying, we buy a lot of frozen fruits and vegetables in case we can't find fresh. A very good idea. And also the reason that's a good idea, Sandy, is because you don't waste as much. Have you noticed that? Because the fruit's not going bad, you just pull out what you need out of the freezer. In fact, I've got a tip for you on that one. When I have frozen fruit in the freezer, I actually freeze it in the container and then I defrost it like this, because you know this container has got holes in it. So while we are chit-chatting, this is going to be defrosting and the juices are going to come out of here. So when I need it, this is going to be fine. All right, so that's just I found that works really well. You know, keep it in a container and then put the container in a bag. And it just makes it so easy. So Pat is saying, I stick to my regular meals because I have to cook for so many. Yes, just so everybody knows, Pat is one of those incredible people that she actually fosters babies whose parents are not able to look after their children. And she just does such a great job. How many have you got in the house at the moment, Pat? And she makes things I know everybody will eat. Well, part of what I'm going to show you is how to disguise stuff and everybody will still eat it. Wow, only 4. Oh, because you're working now. Right, but even so, 4 is pretty, a lot of them. So what this person said that I was watching is, she said, if you want to save money, do not look at the recipe first. Literally go to your fridge and take a rough inventory of your fridge. Not every single thing. Just like, what have you got too much of, or what have you got in there that it's time for it to go? And then do the same in your freezer. Okay? And then with that list, then you go to Google and you put in meals using zucchini, ground beef, and just put that in and then do it that way around. So I thought that was really quite smart, because all too often we go for the recipe and then we're buying more stuff. What this woman was saying, don't buy more. In fact, our aim now is to spend less and less creating meals. Now, I know that people like Pat, yes, so Pat's saying every day she cooks dinner for 8 to 10 people. And Pat, obviously you can pass on this if you choose not to share it, but what do you spend on groceries in the course of a month? I was amazed what Jody and Lionel do with so little money. I mean, I don't think that Jody and Lionel spend in a month what I spend in a week. That's what really amazed me. Okay, so Kimmy, what I'm saying to you is, it's not that you can't get it, you just don't want to spend that money. Okay, so people will deliver to you, and you can still get bargains. If you go to the farm and go and get bulk food now from the farmer, you can, and once you got your fridge back, you can save money. Okay. Wow, look at that. Pat's saying she spends about $1,500 Canadian every 2 weeks to feed her family of 10. So that's about $150 per person. Yikes, you're living well. That includes formula and diapers. Okay, so it's not just food. Okay, so the quote now is, respect for food is respect for life, for who we are and what we do. I like that. All right, so here we go with the flour. Presuming this is any flour and it was on sale, and not just, it was white flour, not rye. This for 2.5 kgs, which is a 5 pound, I think. What would it cost you? Feel free to Google it. Hi, Sam, good to see you. What would it cost you where you live? Roughly. Yes, Jody. Jody is mentioning that Amazon is now accepting SNAP. That is the nutritional assistant cards in most states. So you might want to check on that one, Kimmy. That might help. Okay, so roughly how much do you spend on flour? A bag like this. Right, Pat's saying that she buys the bigger. Do you buy the 10 kilo or bigger, Pat? My exercise program. Because this is the whole point that I want to make. Just to let you know, I'm going to talk in Canadian, but just understand it's all just figures, right? So both this size flour, the 2.5 kg, the 5 pound one, and the 25 pound one were both on sale. Listen to the difference. This size one was on sale for $5.49 in Canadian, which is a good price. And it normally would be $5.99. So that would be a saving of 50 cents. But then I said, wait a minute, how much for that big one? And the 10 kilo bag was, that's, if you can believe this, it was less than $10. So for $10, I could buy 3 of these, not one. Can you see the difference? And that's what I want you to look at. If you need only this amount, still look at what the big size is, because how many of you are going, boy, for a over 50% saving, you know, why wouldn't you get it, okay, if you possibly can? And so to me, it was like, I didn't actually need another big bag because I've got this one and I've got one in the freezer. But you know something, at that price, I'm not going to say no. Yes, Jody, I agree. Amazing value. But did it take me that little bit of extra time to hunt it down? Okay, Pat. Pat's camping this weekend. I'm so glad to hear that. So is Marnie. Okay, so do you understand what I'm getting at here? Sometimes that little bit of extra time can save you a lot of money. So that was the first thing. I've got all sorts of things that I found. Sometimes it doesn't. I had a look at, I buy marble cheese in slices. By the way, I really recommend buying cheese in slices, not in blocks or in shredded. I have found I use far less cheese when I'm cooking. I use far less because it's in slices. Why? Because instead of throwing a couple of handfuls of shredded all over the top of my food, I will just put a couple of slices over the top. Makes sense? And, instead of cutting up a block, I will just, if I want to eat some, instead of cutting a block, I will just grab 2 of these. That's a good idea, so. Very good idea. Why didn't you think of that earlier? I literally will try and grab 2 of these. It sounded so easy when I said it, didn't it? Yeah. It's not. Hang on, people. Okay. I will take 2 crumbs of these. Remember, how you do food is how you do life. Okay. Put that away. So I needed to get some more cheese, and I looked at buying that size and twice that size. And by the way, there was hardly any difference. Yeah, Jody's saying I could live on cheese. Well, I could. Okay. So now we get to the important part, I think. It was time for me to buy some beef. I have, you would laugh at me. I have little things like this on removable tape. And what I do, I have them on my board here. But when I've used it, I put it this way to remind me I've got to buy some more of that. Does that make sense? So if I've got it in the freezer, it's this way. And if it's this way, it means next time I buy, I need to buy some more of this. Actually works very well. But I needed to buy some beef this week. So I had a look. 3 sirloin steaks, and they averaged about 3/4. They averaged about 2 pounds. No, just under 2 pounds. Let's say 1.5 pounds. They were $15 in Canadian. I then said, okay, fine. Let me have a look a bit deeper. I had to go many pages into the system, and then I found sirloin tip oven roast. Okay? And the sirloin tip oven roast for 2.3 kg, that's about 7 pounds, was $35. So I am getting twice as much meat, at basically half the price. Do you understand that? Not only that, when you get a complete roast, I can cut that into 3, for example. I can have 1/3 of it, and then I can do as a roast if somebody comes to eat. I can have 1/3 of it and chop it up into cubes to make stews and things. And I can have 1/3 of it to mince up if I want to. Or, as I probably will do, hot roast the whole thing and then slice it into what sizes I want. Now, I was talking to you about what I've got in here. So I put in here, and I wish I written it down. I didn't write it down because I could see it, which goes to show that I was wrong. But what would this be? You're going air, Sal, that's what it is. I think this was about it was 1.3 kilograms. That's 2.2, say about 3 pounds of meat. Okay. What I want to do is show you that I have been defrosting it in my halogen. I'm just cooking it up. By the way, when you cook up ground beef, what does it look like? Horrible. So I'm going to show you what I do later. So it's going to look horrible, but just ignore that because I want to show you that the 1.3 kilograms ended up. I'm going to weigh it so you can just remember that what it says it is when it is raw is not what it is when it's cooked. That's the point that I want to make sure we remember. So this was 1.3 kilograms. I weighed the bowl first. Okay, so this is 1 pound, 8 ounces now. So 1.3 kilograms would have been, what did I say? 1.3 kilograms, 2.2, about 3 pounds. But when it's cooked, it is down to only just over 1.5. You lose about half the weight when you've cooked it. Now, this is looking pretty cruddy at the moment because some of it, is, how it sticks together and does all sorts of things. I'm not going to worry about that. And I'm going to show you why in a minute. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this, and one of the things I do, hi Chip, 2.8 pounds. Thank you, Jody. I thought it was about 3. So what I'm going to do is go through I've already done it, go through my fridge and find out what have I got. Because the fresh vegetables are coming tomorrow. And this is what I found in my fridge that I want to use up. I found some carrot and some yam. I found some peppers. Oh no, I lied. These are all carrots. I found some orange peppers and some sweet potato. I found some tomatoes that either need to go in the freezer or get used. And I had some onion. And then I had some celery left over. And I went to the garden and I got myself a couple of bits of Swiss chard and a whole stack of chives from my garden. And what I'm going to show you is how I use my magic bullet when I'm doing bulk cooking like this. So I'm going to need to go over there and make a noise. Is that okay, everybody? And the first one and the most noisy will be the carrots. So let me just do that. Let me get this up here so I can see. Okay, so let's do this. Carrots first. Too many in there, I think. Okay, too many in there. Less is more, so. Now, one of the things that I always do is I put water in there and the carrots, okay? And then I chop them up, maybe. If you're doing a lot, this is a really quick, easy way to do it. Excuse me. Angle here. This is a really good way to do it. And then what I do is I'm going to strain it. I'm going to strain this liquid back into here. And some of the pieces are still quite large, so I'm just going to pick those out. And those will go in the second lot. But this first one, that's all nicely minced up. It's going in there. Put the next lot in. As I said, the carrots are going to be the worst because they're so hard. Now you're wondering, why am I not doing this with a food processor or a blender or something, which is what I would normally do to take them out like this. Well, I'm waiting for my new one to arrive. After 20 odd years, my old one just suddenly said that's enough. I couldn't blame it, really. You know what I mean? Now, if I were really smart, I would keep all these juices and put them into my soup for this week. But I want to show you that even with just a magic bullet, this is doable. Okay. I'm coming back to chit chat in a moment, but I just want to get these done quickly. Yeah, we're nearly there. All right, so I'm just going to leave that there. So here are my carrots. Just going to throw those in. And now I'm systematically just going to go through the other ones. And the onions, they're the next hardest, I think. Some water in there. Now, I haven't done it all the way down, but I've just done most of it down. This is peppers and sweet potato, or, yeah. Some color in there. I'll be right back with you in a second, people. But I do just want you to see that this is using this week's leftovers because fresh vegetables are coming in tomorrow. And this is one of the joys about doing stuff live. It just takes a little longer than I would like. I'm sure you're chit-chatting amongst yourselves. Go in. And now we've got the last two. We're just going to throw in. Now, can you see that I'm putting Swiss chard and stuff in here, which quite honestly, normally, people wouldn't like or wouldn't want to put in. But if you've got it minced up like this, they'll never know. And that's one of the joys. That's how I'm eating more healthily, is I'm putting more vegetables ground up like this into my diet, be it in soups or whatever. As you know, I've got stuff in here that I've grown in my garden this year, so that's also helping me save money. There we go. And, by the way, there's the tomato skins and all. I don't take the skins off first. This is all going in because it's all good fiber and it's good for me. Okay, so there's big mess everywhere. So now then, I'm going to mix this up. And I need this. So let me see what comments we got here. The sweet potatoes are raw. Kimmy's saying, I was going to make plum and rhubarb jam, but the weather changed. Oh, do you know how to freeze dry rhubarb, Kimmy? Just so you know. I've got a very small rhubarb plant. It's its first year. But what I do, and I really want to tell you guys about this. If you take anything that you want to freeze dry and just put it in some cardboard in your fridge and leave it there, it'll keep its color and it will dehydrate naturally. All right, so Sandy's saying my favorite thing to add to ground meat is riced cauliflower. Absolutely. All right, so I haven't got any cauliflower, otherwise I would have added that in too. All right, so now I've got everything mixed in here, and now it's time. We'll put some seasoning in. What do you think I should put in here? Anybody got any favorites? Now remember, I'm not cooking meals here. I am just creating some, servings of ground beef. Right, so now, I went into the fridge and I got a few things. Now, this is where it gets scary for those of you who don't know me well. I normally would put in some mustard. But then I thought, as Jeannie's probably going to be here, Jeannie sent me some Moosamudi molasses mustard. How about that? So we're going to throw some of that in. And, oh, that is so good. Oh. Okay, so then I'm going to put in a couple of tablespoons of that roughly. I'm going to, yeah, I know, get over it. So Jeannie, thank you very much indeed. Don't have time, or if I do, I couldn't find it. Obviously some pepper. So I've got a medley of peppers here, all sorts of different peppers. So I'm going to throw some of that in, if I can get the top off this thing. Here we go. So we'll put some of that in. And quite a bit of that in. Apparently. I probably need more than that, so I'll get some regular black. That's it better, some regular black pepper. Do this more quickly. Okay, and anybody else? Yeah, it was very thoughtful of her. I've been enjoying this stuff. All right, so Worcestershire sauce. Any of you use good old English Worcestershire sauce? Hi, Neasha. So I'm going to huck some of that in. Yeah, some people. That well-known measurement. Some. So next, what shall we put in? Oh, how about a bit of cayenne pepper to give it a bit of bite? If you haven't got that, if you've got hot sauce or something, just throw in just a tad of that, just to give it a little tinge there. If you've got hot sauce, by the way, when my bottles get lower, I put them into smaller things. Gives you a lot more room in your freezer or fridge. I am a great believer in, by the way, I'm not getting paid for any of these things that I'm showing you. I'm a great believer in HB sauce. I grew up with it, so to me, no meal with meat is good without HB sauce. I got some of my basil. Now, for some reason, I was going to put that in. By the way, if you've got fresh herbs, you can just wrap them in paper towel and put them in the fridge, and that will also keep them absolutely beautifully green and dry them out. So easy. This I grew myself, people. Such fun. Imagine what I'm going to do next year. And then what else have I got in here? Some parsley. I grew some parsley. So that's also going to go in. That's going to be good in there too. So now we've got lots of color. And that's the thing I always remember Benji saying to me. The more color you can get in a meal, the better it is for you. Now, obviously, when we mix this all up, you're not going to see the color. That's okay. So I'm not going by a recipe that says I need to put this much of this much of that. I went to my fridge to find what have I got in there and used it. Okay. So now I'm going to mix it up again. And it's still got some bits in there that are a bit chunky because of the way that we did it. So I'm just going to literally do this bit by bit. Take my jar and put in about a cupful. About a cupful, I think. And now I'm just going to blend it all together. So now, my question is, how many of you, that's it. How many of you buy plastic bags? Do you buy them in bulk? What's Kez saying? Garlic, you can freeze herbs in the ice cube trays. Yes, just pour one section halfway up with water, and then that's great. Unfortunately, I'm not allowed to have garlic, but yeah, absolutely. And wonderful if you can do that and put oil in there, oil in here as well, or butter and herbs, so you can just literally take a stick. So do you buy your plastic bags in bulk? Question. And if you don't, please start doing it. You will save a lot of money. The other question I have, do any of you, just put this over here for a second. Do any of you have one of these? Shush. Do any of you have one of these things? And if you're going, what's that, Sal? Let me show you what it is. It is a machine that you can make your own bags. So here, I've just made a bag this size. And because I only want to have about a cup in each bag, I'm going to now halve that. So I'm just going to fold it over like that, just so I can see where the half is, and do the same. And what there's a heated wire here that cuts the bag. How many of you have got one of these? Haven't used it in a long time. All right. So now, because I did it the way I did, I've sealed the whole thing now. Hold on one second. I need my scissors. I need scissors. There we go. So this is, and even if you can get the rolls, you actually save even more, obviously. And the advantage to this, if I can do this, the advantage to this is you can get the air out of the bag. I'll show you right now. So what I'm going to do is this bit that I've crunched up, just going to put about a cup's worth into a bag. Now remember, this is not a meal. This is just one serving of ground meat and vegetables. So what I want you to do is get creative here and tell me if this is one serving, how many things can you think of that you can make from one serving if you happen to be a single person? How many things can you think of that you can make with this as the base of it? Not all of it, just the base of it. Okay, so that's about a cup. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in here. I can remember how to do this. So yeah. So now it's going to pull the air out. And once it's pulled the air out, then you just do that, and now it has sealed it. So there we have one serving of ground meat. So how many things can we think of that you can do with one serving? Let me just see how much I've got in there. See how well I did. Get it up to 0 first. And go to 0. It's so easy when. There we go. All right, so this is, yeah, about 4 ounces. Is that about a good amount of meat for one serving? I don't eat more than that as a serving. So how many servings do you think I'm going to be able to get out of that amount of beef? I'm not going to do it all. I'm going to put this in the fridge and do it after the broadcast. But what I wanted to show you is how easy that was to do. And that's probably, I would say that's probably quite a few servings. So, did anybody come up with what can we make from, what can we make? This is a Nyasha. I am really sorry, but right now that's not a discussion I want to have while we're doing food. So we'll get back to you after we finish this, all right? Yeah, and we've got people that know how to do that, but it's just not a discussion I think we should be having when we're talking food. Did you try Googling it? Okay, if maybe somebody like Lauren or somebody can help you directly. But to me, that is not something I want to be discussing while we're dealing with food. Okay, so now then. Yeah, Lauren, can you scroll back and just see what Yesha's, can you? Yeah, just see what her problem is, and can you tell her what to Google? Because I think you've got probably more knowledge than any of us on this sort of stuff. Okay. I want to help her, but, it's very, very difficult to talk about that when I'm dealing with food. All right, so now then. can you see? All right, so Kez is saying, I can make tacos, right? One serving, I can make tacos with. Good. I can make cottage pie or shepherd's pie, yes. In other words, I can put a layer of this and then some mashed potato on top. Very good. Good. What else? I can, yes, crumble it over spaghetti, maybe add more tomatoes in here and make it into spaghetti bolognese. Very good. How about a toasted mince sandwich? Yes, very good idea. Or just, mince on toast. Great idea. How about a couple of meatballs for a protein snack? Oh, I did want to show you one more thing because you guys probably haven't seen this. There's one more thing I wanted to show you. I need to get that back so I can show you. That's so difficult to carry when you've got arthritis. So, all right. Have any of you seen these things? All right. I can make I'll have to scrunch up the meat a bit more again because I've got some big pieces in here. But I can load this up and make sausages. Okay. And what you do is you put all the meat in there and load it up a bit, and then you put this over the top, and then you just put it into your oven for a while, and you end up with really crispy sausages. How about that? Have any of you done that? I did. I've done chicken and apple in it. I've done all sorts of different ones. Well, you know something? You can buy the casings. You can buy those casings, but quite honestly, why? All right. So I actually normally add a bit of breadcrumb to it as well, just to hold it all together. But I just wanted to show you that that's another thought. And for those of you who might be interested, I'll put a link up for you when I remember. All right, so that's going back in the fridge. Has that given you some thought to, how much did I spend on that? Maybe $10, I believe. He was on the packet, right? Oh, 18. It was $18 in Canadian. So how many servings do you think, roughly? We're saying that this was 4 ounces. I think I've got at least 20, 25 servings in here. Did I mince the beef? No, actually this I bought high quality pre-minced. And I'm going to mince it again before it goes in because when I cooked it, it ends up with chunks in it and I don't like that. So then I mince it again to get equal consistency. Does that make sense, Pat? Okay. So now what I also wanted to show you, because I bought the high quality lean stuff, and it was just beef, I could have mixed it with chicken or pork or something, but this was straight beef. That needs to go in the fridge too. I'll let you know on Sunday how many packets I made from it. But what I wanted to show you was how much mess I made. The reason I like to do it in the halogen is this. All right. So this is how much fat came off, basically. Which isn't bad, all right? It was worth buying the high quality. Now, I'm going to leave that in my fridge overnight, and in the fridge overnight, the fat will solidify, and I can take that out. And then what I'm going to do here, because this is good stuff in here, I'm just going to take some water and mix this around here. And what I will do is blend it all up later and make some gravy from it, because this is all good beef gravy stock in here. Does that make sense? So I've saved money here as well. Or, you know, I could put this into soups, or I can use it for the base for a gravy or something. And what I like about doing it in the halogen, that goes in the dishwasher. So my sinks are not going to be big enough this evening, are they? Never mind, we can do this. All right, any questions before I move on to the next thing? That's going in the fridge. Maybe on the smaller one. I thought there would be more than that, and there wasn't. But you can probably see that there's still quite a lot of good stuff in the bottom here that I will put into there when it's when I've taken the fat off it tomorrow. Jenga. Jody talking was a giant Jenga. Now, I did want to let you guys know what happened to me at lunchtime before I do the cream and pudding. And some of you will relate to having a day like this. Okay, good night, Jeannie. So here's what happened. I got up this morning, and I don't know if any of you know, but I had a problem with my bed this week. Let me see if I can show you what happened. And what happened was, pity. I transferred it into this computer. Anyway, you know the air vent? One of those things? I had a carpet that was covering it, and then my bed was on top of the carpet. And for some reason, the caster of my bed fell into that vent, broke the vent. Yeah, I got one of those mechanical beds that's very heavy, and it broke the vent and dropped me into the air vent. Well, not me, but the bed. So I literally got up this morning and said, you know, I've been thinking about it for days. What do I need to do? And I can show you what I needed to do. Clean this off quickly. And it was really quite funny. It's been on there quite a while, so. Okay, we can do this. Okay, so what I needed to do was find a pen. So if this is my bedroom, okay, and my bed was here and it fell into the vent right there. Okay? So what I needed to do was move the bed down far enough so I could put some units behind the bed that would force the bed forward, and therefore the vent would be here which meant that the bed caster would be here in the center of my bed and not touching that. Does that make sense to anybody? So I needed to move everything down by a foot. That was a giant Jenga jigsaw puzzle. I want to tell you something, but I did it. That's the good news. I did actually get it done, but it took me quite a while to do. And I was in the middle of it, and I was texting with Yvonne, because she knows when I have these, giant jigsaw puzzle days. And, right in the middle of my talking to her, she said, aren't you doing a broadcast today? And I said, what? She said, it's Friday. I said, no. Actually, I didn't say anything. I rolled my eyes and going, poor Yvonne, she doesn't even know what day it is. Apparently, I was the one that didn't know what day it was. So I probably would have done the broadcast, me, except I had actually just got out of the shower and my hair was sopping wet. And there was no way I was going to do a broadcast with sopping wet hair. So the only thing that made sense was just to cancel the broadcast, which I will still do. And by the way, it's a great broadcast. I've been working on it all week, and it's a really good one. So hopefully you will get to enjoy it. I didn't see, so far, I think only one person said that when they wanted, I gave people the offer whether you'd like me to do it tomorrow. You sent the vent pic. Thank you very much, Jody. Whether you'd like me to do the broadcast tomorrow night or just leave it over until next week. You don't have the actual vent though, right? Or maybe you do. Hang on a second. I went to the right place. That would help. There it is. Yes. Okay. Thanks, Jody. You're such a star. Look what it did to my vent. The coaster just went inside it. So I've got to get a new vent there. So I ended up, after quite some time, putting these units, putting 2 units against the wall, then the bed. And then, I don't think I've got the final picture in here, but then reconstructed the room. It was really quite, anyway, so in the middle of it, there's Yvonne going, isn't it Friday? And I'm going, oh, that's a bit awkward. Please forgive me. I really did think it was Thursday today. Do any of you relate to that? Ever had that happen to you? It's just like, really? So let us go on and make a bit more space here. This is my bread for tonight. Sandy. It's doing nicely here. By the way, congratulations to Sandy, who has learned how to make her own sourdough starter. Awesome. And she calls it Hermione. I think that's such a great name. Let's put these away. Oh, Jody says she sent me another pic. Thanks, sweetie. I appreciate you doing that. Yeah, so then I put everything back together. There you go. And now eventually got the bed back in there and everything's fine. But it just took a while. So, but I want to tell you, it took a week's worth of thinking about it first. Can any of you relate to that? Because I thought, how do I move the bed down? And I'm going, that's a really heavy bed. And I'm going, yeah, but it's on wheels, so it should come off. Yeah, but how do I move the carpet? All right, do any of you see my thinking? So this is all about the mind games that we need to play with ourselves. And I went, okay, so the carpet has to move down a foot, which means I've got to get the bed off the carpet. Luckily, I have a really big bedroom. And what I did was I literally took everything out of the way of the bed and then pushed the bed down. Hi, Bernice. Pushed the bed down, but it was just short by a couple of inches. I can't lift that bed. So what I did was I swung the bed sideways, and that gave me the extra space I needed. I was so proud of myself for thinking of that one. Then I did all the changing of everything. And by the way, I just kept smiling and going, you know something? It's called spring cleaning in September. Fall cleaning is what it is. Another tip. If you are a single person, cook in a mason jar. All right, so can you see that I could put 1 serving of meat in here and top it up with maybe a layer of vegetables and then some mashed potato, and I would have a complete meal in that size. One of the ways that I found I've been losing the weight is by, the portion control. And I did buy these things to do it with, but I found that if I cook the whole meal in 1 mason jar, that's about the right amount of food. And sometimes I will do this, and then I will do another cup of vegetables over and above this. So I think this is, one of the things that, for those of us who are trying to lose weight or control our blood glucose, it's all little tricks like this that help you. Okay. Queen of puddings. What you do is you take a bowl. I'm thinking, what do I need? I need a bowl. I need a small bowl. Okay. So this is what we learned to do. Don't throw your bread away. All right. So this is how you make Queen's pudding. These are my leftover sourdough pieces of bread. In other words, I was beginning to get stale. So all I did was I put them in my magic bullet and I crumbed them up. Then I put them in my toaster oven on a very low heat for about a day to make sure that they were dry. So there you go, all nicely. And this would normally have ended up in the garbage, and it isn't, or in the recycling, food recycling, organics, but I saved it. And the next thing it needs is an egg, and I've got a neat trick for you guys. If you don't know about this one, some of you probably already know it, but I can't presume that everybody does. All right, what we're going to do is separate the egg. Okay. So, and I've got 2 eggs here. I hope I get this right, people. This is not the way I would normally do it, but it is the way I want to show you. So we're going to put the egg in there. You see I just put a funnel in there? And the funnel will drain the egg. So now I have got a fancy thing that does that. Oh, I don't want something like that. But I'm just showing you that if you don't have an egg separator, some of you probably use a bottle. Have any of you used a bottle? Oops, and then you just, oh, no, that's not what I wanted to do. If you do what I just did, you can't use it. Can't mix the egg. That's tomorrow's omelette. Okay. It was bound to happen, wasn't it? We'll do it the old-fashioned way. Anyway, but it does normally work. I'm sorry it didn't this time. It's bound to happen if you're showing somebody something. So let's. So we're going to throw the egg yolk into the breadcrumbs. And we're going to get another egg. more eggs coming tomorrow. By the way, that's another thing I wanted to talk to you about, which is how many of you buy your eggs in 24s instead of 12s? Because it's amazing the difference. In buying 24 at a time. Now, for a single person, that doesn't make a lot of sense because, you know, it would take me too long to use the eggs. Unless I have eggs every day, which is not good for me. Right. So all we've got is 2 egg yolks in with the breadcrumbs at the moment, and I'm going to stir that up together. How much moisture we've got there. Okay, and so we still need more moisture. So I'm now going to do a healthy thing. I'm going to use almond milk rather than regular milk, just because I'm pre-diabetic. And the thing about it is that the crumbs are sourdough crumbs, so they're less likely to cause glucose spikes for me. Just put some milk in there, some almond milk. Okay, so basically what you've got is like a crust mixture. Now, what you put in this crust mixture is up to you. And that's where it gets interesting. I actually like to put in I've got some cinnamon sugar here that I have. Put some of that in. I'm going to put in some vanilla. And mix that up again. Okay. Okay. And then very simply, I'm going to put this mixture in the bottom of a ramekin. I like these bigger ramekins. They work really well for this sort of thing. So this has now just become a base. And for those of you who know about bread and butter pudding, it's that sort of a taste to it, because you've got the egg and the bread there. And then some in here. I think I can do a third one. Okay, so you see what I'm doing? I'm just patting it down like a base. And then got more than I thought I had. More in that one. That one. Now, it probably doesn't sound like it's going to be very tasty, but I assure you, you'll be surprised. All right. So then, I am then going to bake these at about 350. Okay. And I'm going to carry on with the broadcast because I want to show you what the next bits are, just so that you can do it. And then what I will do on Sunday, I will show you the pictures of it finished. How about that? Because otherwise I won't have enough time. So imagine that this has now come out of the oven and it's baked already. I would probably cook it for about half an hour at 350. And then it's up to you. The original Queen of Puddings, you put a layer of jam next, like strawberry jam or raspberry jam. or whatever your favorite jam is. For those of us who have sugar issues, I put a layer of fruit. So these raspberries are going to go as the next layer after it's baked. Make sense? And then you take your egg whites and make meringue, and that goes on the top of the raspberries. And then you cook the meringue. Do you get the idea? Oh, interesting. Sandy's saying, yes, Sandy and Jody are both saying that they do 18 eggs at a time rather than 12. Good. You know, if I'm on my own, so 12, if I buy more than 12, I'm going to be eating too many eggs or wasting them. I want to tell you something. It is really nice. I do recommend it. And you know, there are lots of recipes online for it if you want it. But I just wanted to show you this bit because that's the most difficult part. And it's not difficult, is it? Okay? So literally, I will cook these up after the broadcast. Then I will put the raspberries on top, and then I'll put the meringue. And then before I go to bed tonight, I'm having one of these. Easy? Easy? I want to know if you think that's easy or not. Wasn't rocket science, right? Did not require a whole lot of hard work, but it tastes really good. And Jody and the guys who are diabetic, do you see that using the sourdough bread crumbs just takes away a lot of the bread issues? And then using the fruit instead of jam, still there's some sugar in the fruit. I understand that, but you know, less than straight that. You had, Jody's saying you had me at the raspberries and meringue. Yes. Now you can do different versions of this. I like to do it with this as the base and then the fruit and then English custard on top, but then I'm an English custard person, right? It does lower the carb count dramatically, Jody, and I found that it doesn't spike me at all, funnily enough. It's quite surprising. All right, now hang on a second, Yasha. You're saying that you can't make the breadcrumbs because you haven't got a magic bullet. Right, Nyasha. Would you like to know how to do it without a magic bullet? That's really what you're asking me, right? I'm going to teach this girl. So there are a number of ways of doing it. You toast your bread, make toast, and then cut it up as finely as you can, right? And then once you've got it cut up finely, you've probably got a rolling pin somewhere in your house. One of these. I've got one of these, but if you've got one of these, and you can just put it in a bag and just roll the rolling pin over the bag, and you will have done it. So just because I've got a magic bullet doesn't mean that's the only way to do it. Always remember what you can do, not what you can't. A grater is another idea, yes, but be careful of your fingers because that red stuff looks really bad when you're making it. Well, mind you, it'll blend with the raspberry. No, don't. All right, let me put this away, guys. Otherwise, I will forget. I have a lot of work to do this evening. Oh, hang on. That's interesting. I haven't had that in the fridge very long. And look at how the fat is separated already. All right, so when that is solid, I will take the fat out, the white fat out, and then I will keep the bottom bit for gravy. And I'll put it in, make some gravy and then freeze it. So anytime I want beef gravy, I've got it made. Right, any questions? Life is a lot easier than you think it is, Nyasha. I always say to myself, it was the same thing as making starter. Isabel will tell you this one as well. And Sandy, when you are have to be careful of things like your sugar, or when you're making bread, right, in trying to make starter. I keep remembering, that the pioneers going across the prairies did not have the ability to pop down to the store and get some yeast. Would a pestle and mortar, yes, absolutely, pestle and mortar would work beautifully if you've got one. Ziploc bag works really well. By the way, if you haven't got a rolling pin, use a bottle, just to roll over the top with a bottle. It's not about what you can't do, it's what have you got that will work. That's, somebody said to me, Sal, you would have made a great pioneer. And I know why now, right? Because to me, if I don't have the right thing, I'm going, what can I do? What can I do with it? All right, so I'm going to put this away. I have no idea how I'm going to put this in, but I will. All right. And if I trip over this lead one more time, I'm going to be very upset. So we don't want that. Okay, and now we can get on with the broadcast again. So, Nyasha, did you get the answer to the question you were asking? Great stress relief to make the breadcrumbs. I agree. And if you didn't, I'm pretty... Jody, did you get a screenshot on the question that Nyasha was asking by any chance? Or was it answered? I just didn't want to deal with it while I was dealing with food. I would have thrown up, I think. So let me just put these away and then we can carry on. Okay, so Nyasha's saying that she toasts bread. Thank you, Jody. You're such a star, Jody. Nyasha's saying she does toast all the time. Yeah, and if you have any of the crusts or anything left over, you can just literally turn those into breadcrumbs as well. But just make sure that you dry it for a couple of days. Don't put it in a bag, or if you put it in a bag, put it in a paper bag that will absorb some moisture. Okay, not a problem, Nyasha. So you got an answer. That's the main thing. And I do apologize that I couldn't talk about it while I was talking about food. All right, so let's go on. So I did a little experiment. I buy eggs by 12s, but I also have an issue because I like the omega-3 eggs. And, they are sort of special eggs. They're the golden ones. And I looked up to see, was there a generic equivalent in that I could save a lot of money? What I found out was that my eggs, I buy the Born omega-3, they were $4.95 for a dozen, and the generic version of it were $4.40. I could save 50 cents if I wanted to, just on the eggs. Jody found a quote that says, "Don't waste food. It's like wasting one of the most precious things given to us by God." I totally agree with that, right? That wasting food is something we've got to get out of the habit of. And I think in this reality of today, we waste so much food. How many of you agree? I think one of the things that really shocked me about moving here was that I found out that I throw away far less here than I've ever done before. I'm not quite sure why, but I literally have a tiny garbage can that I'm allowed to put out twice a month, and I only ever put it out once a month. I compost most of my kitchen stuff and turn it into compost for my garden. And so And the other thing is, I'd like to suggest you all try this because it's a bit of an eye-opener. How many of you separate your garbage from your plastics and recyclables? I think everybody does that now, right? Jody's saying, I was so glad to see you using broccoli stems in last week's soup. Perfect. Yeah, it gives you the flavor. And, cauliflower stems would work as well, Jody. I found as well that during the week, I will have little bits left over from cutting up vegetables. And in here, I've got, some zucchini, some pepper, some corn, carrots, and I just put them in this bag in the freezer. And when I next make soup or something, I will just tuck this in. Okay. So Isabel's just said they're just about to start using the compost one. Okay. I want to tell you, it becomes a way of life. So to me, that's, we have a green bin that's anything that is compostable. And that includes anything basically that's biodegradable. You hate bad smells and bugs. Yeah, we all do. Okay, so here's what I do. Yeah, but here's what I do. Okay. There's a lid to this somewhere in my life, people. Don't know where it is. It's here somewhere. All right, so it is, I have a container that I keep in my kitchen, okay? With a lid, normally. It's there somewhere, is. Or in the dishwasher, maybe. And then what I do is once a day, I take this and put it into and we have a green one for compost, okay? Yes, if you have fat, anything with fat or meat or anything, freeze it and only put it into your compostable the day that you put it out or the night before. All right, so you haven't got all that problem. The other thing is, do you have a garden, Is? Because this is a great thing, I think. All right, which is, I think putting the fats and bones and stuff into the freezer until you have to put it out is a great idea. My sister taught me that when she was in California. Okay, you don't have a garden. Okay, so you will get it. You will learn very quickly. And you know something? You not only will learn very quickly, but in no time at all, you're going to go, gosh, how did I ever not do this before? So thank you, Sandy, for reminding us about the freezer trick. I actually can show her. Yes, it is. I keep a little container in my freezer. This is fat. Okay. This was bacon fat. And that's a paper towel that I absorbed the bacon fat with a paper towel. And then I just froze the whole thing. And come, oh, there we go. And then it'll just go into the organic bin on Wednesday night, like this, solid. Does that help you? And if you've got bones and things, put them in a plastic bag, freeze them, and then just tip the contents into your compostable thing the night before collection. Good. Thank you for mentioning it. Because that's how we help one another learn, right? I personally would be horrified if I couldn't do that anymore. So I had a look at ground turkey. This was interesting for me as well. I found that I could buy ground Canadian turkey for $8, roughly. And then I saw that the same amount of chicken ground up was only $4.49. Do you understand? Sometimes you got to say to yourself, hey, for half the price, I can get chicken, or I can get twice as much by having chicken rather than turkey. Do you understand? Those are the sort of decisions I'm suggesting you think about. Yes, and Kez, that was the thing I was trying to get to. Where am I here? How many of you, yeah, how many of you keep these sort of bags? Okay. Now, normally these are the ones that I take back to the, if in the days when I went shopping, I take these back to the market because I would then put, the next vegetables in them. But now that I have my groceries delivered, these things keep arriving. Now, I can throw them away. No, I can't throw them away. So here's what I do with them, just so that you know. This is plastic with meat on it, and I don't want the smell, right, Is? So I will use these bags, and I will use 2, okay? And I will just tie this up like this. Same thing, put it in the freezer once, and then just put it into the garbage like this on garbage day, but it'll be solid. Does that help, Is? Another one, all right? So it's a good use for those little bags. If you get any small bags coming into your house, maybe you're buying stuff from overseas, Wish or whatever, and they've got those little bags that they keep delivering things in. Keep them, all right? You'll be amazed how useful they are. The other thing is, if you want to see how horrific the plastic wrap type stuff is, keep one Safeway type bag. Do I have one here? Did I just use it? Okay, or even one of these. And for 1 week or 1 month, put all the other plastic that you have into the bag, right? I am amazed that 90% of what I'm throwing out as garbage, we're not talking organics, we're talking garbage, 90% of it is this stuff. So I'm trying to find ways to reuse it or to use it, repurpose it, use it for something else before I throw it away. And as Kez is saying, the supermarket near her has a bin for you to return your soft plastic packaging, and they will recycle it. That's awesome. And, we did that whole broadcast, you remember, we did it about a year ago, maybe more now, about that whole problem of recycling that plastic. So you got the idea? Sometimes choosing chicken over turkey, if you're looking for ground fowl of any sort, saves you 50%. Now, question. Have any of you worked out how to make soft soap? How many of you use soft soap as opposed to bar soap? I've got to think for a second. Wait a minute. I'm trying to think. I'm going to get something for you. Hold on. Jody's saying being flexible with grocery lists creates more options. I agree. Oh, Kimmy's saying she uses them for little trash bags. Great. Use them a second time wherever you can. I actually gave Doug, who's moving soon, I gave him a whole big bag full of plastic type bags like that so he could wrap his, he's doing the big pack up. And so he can wrap all of his cups and everything else in plastic rather than paper. And then it's reused and he can throw it away. Yes, Kez, that we did a program on that, on the British one. Kez is saying there's an Australian show called War on Waste where they tell you what things you can do at home and a lot more like stuff you're talking about. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. We did a whole broadcast on it one night, Kez, and it's amazing. But send me the link and I'll do another one. Niasha said, since I learned how to make liquid soap, I now melt down my bars. You don't actually need to melt them down. Did you know that? I wonder where I had them, but I saw them recently and thought I should talk about that. I don't know where oh, here we go. No, someone. But it would give you the idea. Right, so all you really need to do is to buy soap when it is not with moisturizer, just the regular soap, and put it in a container with some water and shake it up every now and then. And you're going to end up with this, which is going to be a little thick. So you can then water it down a bit more until you've got the consistency you want for your soft soap. For those of you who use Head and Shoulders, I'd like to suggest you give this a bit of thought. What is Head and Shoulders? It is an antibacterial soap for cleaning your hair. Now, what happens if you use antibacterial soap to wash your hair? Have you tried it? I just need to get you something else. And my suggestion is, if you're using that, you probably want to mix some antibacterial soap in with some regular soap to wash your hair. I learned how to make my own gel deodorant. And really, think about this. What is gel deodorant? It's actually just an antibacterial gel. So what I said is, okay, aloe vera gel is antibacterial. And I wouldn't recommend it if you're shaving a lot, because that would be pretty owy. But I want to tell you something. It's worked for me so far, and it's saving me quite a bit of money. And all I did was to work out how to take the top section, this top section off, which just required a knife and a push, and it came off. All right, so how many of you use pure Castile soap for things like laundry and stuff? Yeah, I want to tell you, and Yesha's saying, okay, I would cut mine up also, but the chunks would normally sit at the bottom. So you shake it regularly until the chunks dissolve. And then, you know, when you go to use the soft soap, just don't put the chunks in. You just keep shaking that until the chunks have disappeared. Yeah, it'll eventually turn solid only when the water evaporates. If you keep it in suspension, if you keep it liquid all the time, then it's not going to turn solid unless you don't have a top on it. All right, I keep mine in a bottle with a good lid on it. This was from some chutney, I think. You know, so that it has a proper seal. A mason jar would work. Okay, so that's another thing. Lewis Gizzard said, it's difficult to think anything but pleasant thoughts while eating a homegrown tomato. For those of you who watched the birth of Tommy the tomato, we now have the first tomato about this size and two others that are busy growing at the moment. I think I will get to eat them before the frost. It's going to be so exciting. I will show you. Oh, All right, so I looked at that ground beef. I found it now. All right, so this was the difference in ground beef. All right, that 1.3 kilograms, that's two and a half, about 3 pounds of ground beef was $11.44. Okay, for that much. And if I bought just 500 grams, just a pound of it would have cost me $7. So the big one I bought was 3 times that. So that would have cost $21. And because I bought it in bulk, it only cost me 11. How about that? See, if you buy the bigger size, it's much better. I want to go back to Castile soap for a moment. Castile soap is gentle on people and the environment. It comes from Castile in Spain, a region renowned for its olive oil. Authentic Castile soap is made from plant oils, coconut, hemp, sunflower seed, yoba, and olive oil. So when you think about how many oils are, devastating forests and things, we don't want that. And the oils from these are mixed with an alkali. So to me, this is like Castile soap is pure, all right? It's good for the environment and it's good for us. So if you can, stop buying the fancy soaps and maybe buy Castile and put a couple of drops of your own essence in there. All right, so Niesha's saying, well, apparently the water escapes. It only evaporates if it's not a good seal. So what you want is a better bottle, and really, I've had this in here for a year and it hasn't gone solid on me. Why? This is a really good seal bottle. So that's the only thing, Niesha. You're nearly there. And how about this one? The quote says, thank you, Jody, you don't need a silver fork to eat good food. I also have to say, for all of you who maybe, as I was a year ago, finding out that you are pre-diabetic or diabetic, you don't have to eat like an idiot to control your blood sugar. You have to eat good food. But it doesn't mean you can't have bad food. It just means you can't have it every day like you used to. And that is the difference. And I want to really give a heads up here to Jody, who taught me that and taught me well. This week, by the way, I made chicken and apple meatballs instead of buying sausages. I actually had sausages on my shopping list. And then when I went to go order them, I thought, why would I do that? I've got, packets of pre-cooked chicken. You remember when we did the chicken that day? We cooked a whole chicken. And I'm thinking, I've got all that chicken wrapped up in the freezer. I took out a couple of helpings of that, and then I put it in the magic bullet, cut it up, small. And then I made, put apple in it and some, I think a bit of cinnamon, a little bit of lemon pepper and stuff. And I made meatballs instead of sausages. So to me, this is all about making changes, and we will actually end up eating better. Jody asked me whether I would consider, one of the things, hang on a second, let me get that. Sorry. It's just I keep thinking of things that I've done. And I forget to bring them out. Right, so I bought a whole flat of ramen noodles. Now, we know that it's really the ramen noodle that I wanted, not the flavorings. So, quite honestly, this was $10 for all of these. And let's think, how many things can you do with ramen noodles? And that's what Jody said. Would you guys be interested in my making up some recipes using ramen noodles as a base? What I like about using these is it's the perfect size. Kimmy, that's wonderful. Kimmy's saying she makes her own sanitizer. Yes. So how do you make it, Kimmy? Just so that other people can make theirs too. Because I've seen so many interesting things done with noodles, and my attitude is, if some of you would like me to play with that, I'd gladly do it, because I got quite a few here. I've fried them. I've crunched them on. Have any of you crunched them on top of a salad, like chow mein noodles? Yeah, Sandy's saying my husband uses the flavor packs. Yes, but that's okay. They're so inexpensive and so versatile. So for those of you who are good with them, send me your ideas and I will credit you with whatever it is that you come up with as we go through how many things we can do with ramen noodles. But I literally had a salad recently. And when I looked at it, I thought there's a nice crunchy bits in there. When I looked at it, I said, are those ramen noodles? Yep. And I'm going, I would never have thought to put ramen noodles on a salad. So it is actually the seasoning that is the problem, right? So I'm just seeing, that's where the sodium and everything is. So I think we can make some cheap meals using those. But what I like about them is it's portion control. The other thing I buy, because it's automatic portion control, do any of you buy, the udon noodles like this? See, I found that I have learned a lot about portion control by buying it in a portion control. This is 200 gram serving. Okay, let me see, how bad is it? They got a lot of carbs in them, but 4% of the carbs are fiber. So, it's not totally bad. But I can make food for 2 days out of one of these. All right, so Nyasha says, do you have any substitute for store-bought snacks? Of course, so do you. You just have to Google. She's saying, each time Mum goes grocery shopping, I must include some form of artificial treat. Nyasha, you have got a wealth of ideas in Google. And the thing is this, do you want to make store-bought type treats or do you want to make healthy ones? And that's the thing that you need to look at now. If you're diabetic, which I think you are, if I remember correctly, it's like, start making your own healthy treats. You're too old for snacks. I don't know. What sort of snacks are you talking about? I know that Bernice has gone through a tremendous change because she's, somebody that's used to candy bars and things, as was I. And, she's now diabetic and can't have them anymore. But what I said is, it's not about that you can't ever have them. It's just like, if you still got them in the house, cut them up and freeze them. And every now and then give yourself a little treat. Yeah. If you really want to make a friend, go to somebody's house and eat with him. The people who give you their food also give you their heart. Isn't that true? So part of the reality about having less money for groceries is we are going to get more creative. I think Jody and Sandy and Iz as well, I'm pretty sure that you will all tell me that being diabetic doesn't mean you can't have good food. It just means the sort of food you have is different. I am amazed how now I don't even think twice about making my crepes with 50% almond flour instead of just regular flour. I will mix 50% white flour with 50% almond flour. And it still makes a really nice, tasty crepe, because I'm not giving up my crepes, people. And so I think what we all are going to be looking at. All right, so Bernice is saying, I'm still having good food. It's just different, but still good. Yes, and you're going to find that, you can still have the stuff you used to have occasionally. You just are going to know the price you pay for it. Bernice, that is the difference. All right, so every now and then I will go and have poutine. Potatoes, that's a no-no. Mind you, it's got cheese curds, and that's not too bad. But, and then they got the gravy. Well, that's 90% sodium in there. But, I've had 2 in 7 months, I think. Kimmy's saying she's using for her hand sanitizer 75% or higher rubbing alcohol, and I use the Top Care Alteration Gel. You have to experiment on the mixture to get it right. Yes. And this is the whole thing. Aloe vera gel and some rubbing alcohol makes a really great sanitizer. Lots of recipes online. No reason to pay a fortune for it. You can make your own. So that's awesome. I'm glad to hear that, Kim. The more challenged we get with money, the more creative we become. So I, again, would say to you, be prepared, not scared, that, you are going to make lots of changes. And some of them will, this recipe that I gave you for Queen of Puddings, that I'm not joking. That's as old as the hills. So, it's just like, some recipes that we've been eating forever, are not totally good, but I adapted it. I didn't put jam in it. I could have put no sugar jam in it, right? But what I did is I put in fresh fruit. Yes, she said, I like sugar. For example, a snack here called Honey Nut Cheerios. Yes. A cheese snack called Cheesies. I love cakes also, but I often hear they are for kids, and I'm an adult, but I like eating them. You're diabetic. You shouldn't, with all due respect, Nyasha. Honey Nut Cheerios, probably of the, that's not, you just got to look at the nutrition facts on those. Jody will help you with that. Cheesies, I would say that is mostly chemicals. Seriously, that is mostly chemical. That's not a good food. You could make something way more tasty for yourself if you did a bit of research. You love cakes. I love muffins as well. So you know what I do? I make my muffins with 50% muffin mix and 50% almond flour. And then I have a little bit of cream cheese icing on top. And it doesn't spike me very much. So, it's not that you can't have them. You just need to get creative. But, I would say, with all due respect, Jody will let me know, but I think cheesies are just 100% chemical. There's nothing very good in them at all. In fact, quite the opposite. They're probably quite dangerous for you if you're diabetic. So this is not about what you can't do. Remember that. All right. So Jody's saying 3/4 of a cup of Honey Nut Cheerios has 20 carbs. That's high. Okay. Let me see what my mini wheats. Okay. My mini wheats don't spike me for some reason. And this is 23 little mini wheats. The carbs are 15%. But it's, hang on, they're 46 grams, Jody. You know how to do this math. But 6 of them are fiber. And they're whole grain. So maybe, Nyasha, do you like mini wheats? Because that's a better choice for you rather than Honey Nut Cheerios, is what we're saying. You know that I have one of these. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, start getting quality snacks if you can. This is cashew, makes them, they're pretty expensive. Bernice is saying some whole wheat stuff doesn't spike fast, but it spikes later. Mini wheats don't spike me. Really strange. Mini wheats taste great. Yeah. And they got a sweet coating on them. So if you like Honey Nut Cheerios, you'll like mini wheats, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, just look at their side. But they make so many healthy snacks now. And I'm sure they even have them where you live. Okay, everybody, I hope this is, let me ask you. Has this helped in any way, this broadcast? And if so, what was it about the broadcast that you went, oh, that's good. I'm glad I was watching that. So, what I'm trying to find out is, I wanted to give you some feedback on the cream cheese. You remember I said that I had some milk in my fridge that was turning? I knew it had started to turn and I didn't want to throw it out yet. And what I did, you remember how we made the cream cheese? I did the same thing and it turned into cottage cheese, which you guys told me it would. But I really don't like eating cottage cheese. So what I did was I took it and I rinsed it all off. Once it had turned into cottage cheese, I rinsed the curds off to get rid of any of the acidic sort of taste of it. And then I blended it with a little bit of milk. Guess what? I ended up with very nice cream cheese, thank you. And it didn't taste funny at all. The other thing is, what I noticed is the whey that, that strains out of the yogurt cheese and also out of the cream cheese that we made. I found that whey goes beautifully into my bread dough. I just throw it into the next lot of dough I'm making. So I am learning to throw less and less away. All right, so Jody's saying, I love the beef mixture, the ideas we all came up with, and the pudding I'm definitely going to make. Yes, you understand, Jody, that now I feel like beef this evening. I just get out one serving and I know it's the right size, right? It's not too much. It's the right size. It's a cup. And that's why I cook in bulk and package in single servings. Yeah, Jody's saying the whey adds nutrition to your bread. It's a great idea, yeah. So what I found that since I've been buying in bulk, cooking in bulk, and then packaging in individual servings, I just find that I'm using the stuff better than I was when I was making meals and freezing them. I found I wasn't eating the meals I froze. I had to throw them away. Whereas now I just go, okay, it's time for beef tonight. I pull out the beef and I go, okay, what am I going to do with it? But I know the base is there. I can throw in all sorts of things over the top of it. That's fine. I can add tomato sauce. I can add, more tomatoes into it. I can add whatever I like, but I've got the base. It's cooked, right? It's not going to take very much time. I just need to add things to it. And as you said, where's my list? I had a list. Yeah. Did we come up with lasagna? Did anybody say lasagna? Because that was the other one I thought of, that you could make, little mini lasagnas in a small ramekin like this, just, layers. See, and that's the thing, is this is a serving of lasagna. This is not the 2 scoops you normally have, right? And Yesha saying, thanks, Jody. I know I shouldn't be eating anything with high sugar content, but I've never really seen any healthy snacks which taste just as tasty. That doesn't mean that you can eat them, Yesha. honey, just because you can't find the alternative, that means that you haven't done much looking on Google, because there's so many healthy snacks. I found, you know, I make myself protein bars and all sorts of things. It's, yeah, it's, it's really something you, well, yeah, Jody will help you with that. 99. What's that in Canadian, Jody? 99. That must be about 6. Yeah. Well, think about it, Bernice. If you've had your blood sugar way up here and you're now down into the proper range, which is, high 5s, 6s, it's going to feel very strange. Oh, is it 5-ish? Thanks, Sandy. Yeah, so Nyasha, we've got some really talented people in the group now, food-wise, that will be only too happy to send you, recipes for tasty snacks that, remembering that she is in Tobago and that, she might not be able to get all the things. And the fact that maybe almond flour is out of her income reach. So, we got to get creative about that. Can you eat oats? Yeah, sure. Because oats have a better for you than some of the other things. So you could actually make a flour out of your oats if you have rolled oats. I would suggest that you start making flour out of that. And then with that flour, because oats are better than white flour, and then, with that, make muffins and things. Learn how to make things that you do like, but probably half the size that you're used to. And what can you do with it? I add some raisins in with mine to make it sweet. I add some cinnamon in. I add some nutmeg sometimes. I put some coconut on it. Yes, but that's when you eat it raw, it is sticky. But when you bake it, when you turn it into a flour and make it into, like a batter almost, then, it has a different consistency. So, yes, I agree with you, Kimmy. Some things we think are healthy, but they're really not. Look at this shock I got with watermelon. I could not believe what watermelon did to my blood sugar. It was scary. It took me up into the 8s. So, Nyasha, I don't want to hear what you can't do. I want you to start researching healthy snacks. And you will be amazed how many things you can make. Really. And the same as healthy desserts, right? And that is what again, we've got a whole group of people now in the fitness group now who actually really care about eating better. And I am so grateful to you for the knowledge you're sharing. Yeah, that's right. And so Kimmy's saying you've got to watch how to eat snacks that they say are healthy, but they're really not healthy. And that's, you've got to read the labels correctly. By the way, Kimmy, I really wanted to thank you. You remember some time ago, you gave us the heads up about watch out for the shipping costs, right? I want to tell you, I nearly bought something the other day, and just as I was about to hit the go button, I saw the shipping costs were 3 times the price of the item. And I went, thank you, Kimmy, and didn't buy it. So I just wanted to tell you that you'd made a difference in my life, and I thank you for that. Nyasha, I love Mars bars, but I can't eat them anymore, honey. Right? I make muffins instead. It's not, it's like, grow up. If you are diabetic, you cannot eat these things anymore and be healthy. You will, if you keep eating them, it's going to kill you. You're going to end up with terrible problems with ulcers and in your legs and things. You're going to end up with heart problems that you don't want and all sorts of things. You know, this diabetes isn't to be messed with, honey. All right. And you're full blown diabetic, right? You're not like me. You're not pre diabetic. You're full blown, as is Bernice. All right. Jody loves to have popcorn, but she can't eat it very often. You know, funny you should say that, Jody. I literally, in the fridge, when I was sorting out what was in the fridge that I could use, I found a container, a 1-cup container, and it had half a layer of popcorn in it. And I went, and I ate it. Gluten-free muffins. You can control what you put in. Yes. Actually, what I'm hearing, though, is maybe, you know, we want to do some more of it. But gluten-free isn't necessarily diabetic, right? I've got a whole cookbook on gluten-free baking. And so, you know, it's like the stuff is on Google if you want it. Yes, and that we got to give Bernice a heads up on that one. Well done. Bernice really made immediate changes as well. Yes, just because it's gluten-free doesn't mean that it's diabetic friendly. We just have to be a little careful. So why don't we get the people who are experts at this to give us some of their favorite fun things to eat, you know, that are okay. Maybe the snacks that we can share. By the way, who was it? Was it Sandy, or I think it was Sandy that sent 50 low-carb snacks, right, that I can eat. I want to tell you, I printed it out and it's on my fridge. Thank you so much. And I'm going, half of these I can eat. The other half, not so much, but at least half of these are an option for me. So if I keep these in front of me, like this, when I go to the fridge, I go, what do I choose to eat now? What do I choose to eat now? Okay, so this is DearMamaSal saying, I will see you on Sunday. I hope you've enjoyed it, and thank you all for your input and help. Thank you for those who did the calculations for us. I love chia pudding as well, Bernice. Yes. I wonder if Nyasha has tried that. Yeah. Unsweetened almond milk, Evie. Yeah. I quite agree. I love it. So thank you all for your help, and thank you for assisting one another. I really appreciate those of you who came in to help Jody, because I knew there'd be a lot of calculations necessary. This is DearMamaSal saying we will continue on this journey. As a group, we are coping better because we're making better choices. Don't you agree? You see, that's what it's all about. What being happy is about is making the right choices for ourselves. That's what makes us happy. Now, it may mean that we can't have a candy bar, but this is what I can have. And I'm going to enjoy it. And that is the attitude that I would beg you. You know, I can't afford to have steak every week anymore. You know, but this is what I can have. And so to me, Nyasha, chia pudding is something you make. It's not something you buy. Okay. Chia seeds. You just soak them. So tasty. And you'll be surprised how tasty it is, you know, especially if you put some fruit in there or something like that. Yeah, see if your mom can find chia seeds. You know, check the recipes first. But I want to tell you, you'll be pleasantly surprised. If you know, I look at it and go, if that is all I could eat, would I be happy enough with it. Yeah, because you can use it for so many different things. Yeah, you can put cocoa powder in it. You can put fruit in it. You can put some stevia in it, to sweeten it up. You can do all sorts of things. Life is exciting, people. Just because we can't have sugar doesn't mean it's the end of our world. It's it's a good thing. So this is DearMamaSal saying thank you all. Oh, you have the recipes? Do you not have my email address, Kimmy? Because you can send them to me and I will, start collecting them and we'll start doing broadcasts with them. All right, everybody, just don't send me too many, just your favorite ones, right? This is DearMamaSal saying, love you dearly. Good job. And we'll see you on Sunday. Remember to look after one another, but most important, please, please, please remember to look after yourself and do not mess with diabetes. Get the exercise, get the right foods inside you, and drink plenty of water. This is DearMamaSal saying bye-bye for now.